Welcome to Livekindly. Navigating the complexities of personal relationships can often feel like standing at a crucial crossroads. We might find ourselves holding on to friendships or relationships out of a sense of comfort and familiarity, even when we sense that they might be hindering our growth. Acknowledging that those we have shared laughter, tears, and countless memories with may not be meant to accompany us on our entire journey is indeed a sobering realization. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers profound insights that can illuminate these modern-day challenges. The Stoics emphasize the importance of making deliberate choices about our inner circle, advocating for relationships that enhance our growth and align with our highest virtues. It's not about severing ties with a heartless detachment, but about thoughtfully curating connections that inspire and support our journey towards self-improvement. If you find yourself at this juncture, facing a decision that could reshape your path, remember that you're in good company. Today, we delve into the essence of Stoic wisdom to identify the signs that it might be time to let go of certain relationships, creating space for new growth and deeper connections. This exploration, guided by timeless Stoic principles, aims to uncover the freedom and tranquility that come from making wise and courageous choices in our relationships. Join us on this introspective journey, and as you do, consider subscribing, sharing this message with those who might benefit, and engaging fully with the content, because every insight could be a transformative step towards a more fulfilling life. If you find this video helpful and enjoyable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our videos. Number 1. This is a hard subject to tackle, but it's crucial we talk about it. Abuse, in any manifestation, be it physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, is an unequivocal indication that a relationship must end. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in the principles of dignity, self-respect, and the intrinsic value of the human spirit, categorically rejects any form of abuse. Such behavior not only contravenes Stoic tenets of mutual respect and personal integrity, but also undermines the fundamental pillars of trust and safety that relationships are meant to uphold. Stoic philosophy underscores the recognition of our inherent worth and emphasizes the critical need to preserve our dignity and self-respect. These are not mere abstract ideals. They are practical directives guiding our actions and decisions, especially during difficult times. When confronted with situations where these core values are violated, Stoicism advocates for decisive action not driven by vengeance or anger, but by a profound respect for oneself and the intrinsic value of one's well-being. Abuse erodes dignity and self-respect, aiming to diminish the victim's sense of self, instill fear, and exert control. This is fundamentally opposed to the essence of Stoic philosophy. The Stoic response to such circumstances is unequivocal. Seeking help and exiting the abusive relationship is not just crucial, it is imperative. It is a step aligned with the Stoic commitment to leading a virtuous and dignified life, respecting the inherent worth of every individual, starting with oneself. Exiting an abusive relationship is one of the most daunting decisions a person can face, requiring immense courage, strength, and often external support. This is where the Stoic practice of seeking wisdom from those who have encountered similar challenges or from professionals who can provide guidance and support proves invaluable. Seeking help, whether from friends, family, or professional services, is not a sign of weakness but of strength. It is an affirmation of one's worth and a commitment to a life free from harm. Furthermore, Stoicism extends beyond advocating the exit from abusive situations. It emphasizes the process of healing and reclaiming dignity and self-respect after such experiences. It teaches us that while we may not control others' actions, We control our responses and the path we choose moving forward. The journey of healing from abuse mirrors the Stoic journey, reasserting control over one's inner world, reaffirming one's values, and rebuilding one's life in alignment with those values. It is crucial to understand that if you are experiencing abuse, it is not your fault, and you are not alone. Reaching out for help, relying on the support of others, and taking steps to leave such a situation are actions that reflect the highest respect for oneself. They are steps toward a life where dignity, self-respect, and well-being are rightly prioritized. In the spirit of Stoicism, let us remember the importance of valuing ourselves, respecting our intrinsic worth, and taking decisive action to remove ourselves from harmful situations. Let us stand firm in our commitment to dignity, self-respect, and the pursuit of a life not only free from abuse, but rich in virtue and meaning. Number 2. We've all felt at one point or another being caught in a whirlwind of negative emotions within a relationship. Have you ever found yourself ensnared in a relationship where drama overshadows support? It's truly draining. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, offered profound guidance on managing our emotions. He famously noted that while we cannot control external events, we do have mastery over our minds, and recognizing this is the key to our true power. This wisdom is transformative, especially when applied to relationships dominated by negative emotions such as jealousy and anger. If your relationship feels more like a battlefield than a sanctuary, it's a clear sign that something needs to change. While emotions like anger and jealousy are part of the human experience, they shouldn't define or be the foundation of any relationship meant to bring peace and lasting joy. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we are in control of our responses to these emotions. For instance, if jealousy arises because a friend is progressing in life while you feel stagnant, or if anger flares up each time someone undermines you, remember that your reaction is within your control. You can choose not to let these emotions dictate the terms of your relationship. Putting this into practice starts with self-awareness. Recognize when you are experiencing these emotions and question their roots. Why am I feeling this way? What can I learn from this? How can I respond in a way that aligns with the person I aspire to be? These reflections are not easy, but they are essential. Sometimes, the healthiest response is to create distance or initiate change. This is not about evading problems, but understanding that if a relationship consistently pulls you into negative spirals rather than uplifting you, it might be time to reassess. This doesn't imply failure, nor does it paint the other person as a villain. It's simply an acknowledgement that not every relationship is meant to endure through all seasons of life, and that's perfectly okay. The Stoics emphasize living in harmony with nature, and sometimes the natural progression is to grow apart. If you find yourself constantly battling negative emotions in any relationship, reflect on Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Remember, you have power over your mind and reactions, and you can choose to cultivate relationships grounded in positive, supportive energy. Such environments are where we truly thrive, grow, and find peace. Let's not allow drama to define our relationships. Instead, let's foster connections based on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine support. These are the relationships that endure, bringing out the best in us and standing the test of time. Number 3. Picture this: a relationship that, instead of being a source of peace and comfort, feels more like a storm, constantly disturbing your inner calm and leaving you feeling unsettled. Isn't it challenging when the very connections meant to enrich our lives end up costing us our peace of mind? This is a clear signal that it's time to pause and reflect on the role such relationships play in our lives. Stoicism, a philosophy that has endured through the centuries, places immense value on tranquility, teaching us to cultivate an inner calm that remains undisturbed by external circumstances. The Stoics believe that peace of mind is not merely a precious asset, but essential for living a good life. They emphasized maintaining equanimity amidst life's ups and downs, which includes navigating our relationships with wisdom and discernment. So, what should we do when a relationship consistently disrupts our tranquility? First and foremost, Stoicism encourages us to step back and objectively examine the situation. Ask yourself, why does this relationship disturb my peace? Is it the other person's behavior, unresolved conflicts, or perhaps my own reactions and expectations? This self-examination is crucial as it shifts us from emotional reaction to rational response. Once we've identified the source of the disturbance, the next step is to consider what can be changed. Can the issues be addressed through open and honest communication? Are there boundaries that need to be set or reinforced? Remember, Stoicism does not advocate for passive acceptance of all situations. While it teaches us to accept what we cannot change, it also encourages taking action where we can make a positive difference. However, if after careful consideration and effort the relationship continues to be a source of turmoil, it may be time to question its place in your life. This isn't about giving up at the first sign of trouble or conflict. It's about recognizing when a relationship is fundamentally misaligned with your values and pursuit of tranquility. The decision to distance oneself from a relationship that disturbs your peace is not to be taken lightly. It requires courage, honesty, and sometimes a willingness to let go for the sake of your well-being. Remember, the Stoic goal is not to eliminate all sources of discomfort, but to cultivate inner resilience that allows us to face challenges with equanimity. In the end, the relationships we choose to maintain should support our pursuit of tranquility, not undermine it. They should be sources of strength, growth, and joy, not constant unrest. Number 4. If a relationship is stopping you from growing, it's a red flag. Consider this for a moment. Have you ever felt stuck, as if your progress is being stifled because someone close to you isn't supportive, or worse, is actively holding you back? It's a difficult situation to navigate. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of personal growth and self-improvement. He believed that to live a fulfilling life, we must constantly evolve, learn, and push our boundaries. If you find yourself in a relationship, be it with a friend, family member, or partner where you feel stifled, Seneca would likely view this as a significant red flag. This isn't to say that every relationship must constantly challenge you to reach new heights. However, those who care about you should support your growth and cheer you on. They should act as your support system, not as anchors that drag you into the depths of what-if scenarios and unfulfilled potential. It's worth taking a moment for a heart-to-heart with yourself. Ask, why am I still holding on to this relationship? Is it out of habit, fear, or misplaced loyalty? These are challenging questions but crucial ones. True connections, the ones truly deserving of your time and affection, should elevate you. They should help you feel capable of being more today than you were yesterday. Stoicism teaches the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who contribute positively to our lives. It's not about having a large circle of friends or being universally liked. It's about curating a circle that enriches your life, encourages your growth, and aligns with your values. If you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like quicksand than a launching pad, it might be time to reassess its place in your life. Wanting to grow is not selfish. It's inherently human. Sometimes, growth necessitates letting go of those who hold us back, not with resentment, but with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to say goodbye. Reflect on your relationships and consider whether they act as bridges to your best self or barriers to your growth. Remember, the journey of self-improvement is never a solitary endeavor. We need the right companions to truly make the journey worthwhile. Cultivate relationships that support and inspire you, and don't be afraid to step away from those that don't. This is not just a step towards personal growth, but a vital move towards a life of fulfillment and purpose. Number 5. What happens when a relationship starts to do more harm than good? When the time you spend with someone leaves you feeling more drained than energized, more stressed than supported, it's a clear indication that something is amiss. Being in a relationship where you constantly feel like you're walking on eggshells, caught in an endless cycle of arguments, or simply feeling down whenever they're around are glaring red flags. Healthy connections, the kind we all deserve and should strive for, are supposed to be uplifting. They should enrich our lives, bring joy, and provide support through both the highs and lows. They shouldn't complicate our lives with constant stress or make us question our worth. The Stoics emphasized living in harmony with nature, including our own nature, and pursuing a life of virtue and tranquility. They believed in maintaining relationships that align with these principles. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that pulls you away from peace and from being your best self, it's worth considering what the Stoics might advise. They would likely encourage us to step back and objectively examine the situation. Ask yourself, is this relationship contributing to my well-being? Is it helping me grow as a person? Or is it a source of constant negativity, draining my energy and leaving me feeling worse? If the latter is true, it might be time to question whether this connection is truly serving your highest good. Stoicism teaches the value of self-awareness and the courage to make difficult decisions that align with our well-being and virtues. It's not about being cold or unfeeling. It's about recognizing what's truly beneficial for us in the long run. Sometimes this means making the tough choice to distance ourselves from relationships that do more harm than good. This isn't to say that every rough patch means a relationship is toxic or should be ended. However, if you consistently feel worse because of someone's presence in your life, it's a sign that something needs to change. Healthy relationships may have their challenges, but at their core, they are sources of support, love, and mutual growth. If this resonates with your current situation, take a moment to reflect on it. Consider what steps you can take to address the issues at hand. Communication is key. Perhaps it's time for an honest, open conversation about how you're feeling. If things don't improve, remember, it's okay to prioritize your peace and well-being. The Stoics remind us that our responsibility to ourselves includes nurturing relationships that are healthy and letting go of those that aren't. Let's commit to seeking out and cultivating connections that feel healthy, that add to our lives rather than complicate them. At the end of the day, we all deserve relationships that bring us joy, growth, and tranquility. It's through facing these challenges and making these tough decisions that we grow stronger and more aligned with our true selves. That's the Stoic way, embracing what serves us and having the wisdom to let go of what doesn't. Number 6. Feeling tethered to illusions rather than reality, Stoicism at its heart is about acceptance. Accepting the reality of our lives, our relationships, and the world around us as they truly are, rather than as we wish them to be, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics, with their pragmatic and grounded approach to life, teach us that there is profound strength and freedom in seeing things clearly, without the rose-colored glasses that illusions often provide. So what does this mean for our relationships? It means taking a hard, honest look at them and asking ourselves whether they are rooted in reality or if we are holding on to a fantasy. Are we ignoring red flags, glossing over issues, or painting a picture of someone that doesn't quite match up with who they really are. If so, we are not doing ourselves or our partners any favors. Being tethered to illusions in a relationship can feel like being stuck in a mirage. From a distance, everything looks perfect, but as you get closer, you realize it's just an illusion, lacking substance and truth. This isn't to say that hope and aspirations have no place in relationships, they certainly do. However, there is a fine line between healthy aspirations and losing ourselves in fantasies that detract from our ability to engage with the genuine nature of our connections. Embracing the truth, as the Stoics would advise, means confronting these illusions head-on. It's about having the courage to recognize and accept the reality of our relationships, even when it's uncomfortable or painful. This is no easy task. It requires a level of honesty and vulnerability that can be daunting, but there is incredible power in truth. It's the foundation upon which genuine, meaningful relationships are built. The process of embracing reality over illusion can be transformative. It might mean acknowledging that a relationship isn't what you thought it was, or that the person you're with isn't who you hoped they would be. This realization can be a bitter pill to swallow, but it's also a crucial step towards genuine growth and emotional freedom. It opens up the space for you to engage in relationships that are authentic, where you can love and be loved for who you truly are, not for the illusions you've constructed. If you find yourself feeling tethered to illusions, take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your relationship are real, and what parts have you embellished or imagined? How does this alignment, or lack thereof, with reality affect your happiness and well-being? Remember, Stoicism isn't about pessimism or resigning ourselves to unhappiness. Quite the opposite. It's about finding peace and contentment by aligning ourselves with the truth of how things are. It teaches us that by accepting reality, we can navigate our lives and relationships with wisdom, clarity, and a sense of groundedness that illusions simply cannot provide. Number 7. Lack of mutual respect is another deal breaker. Without respect, there's no foundation for anything positive. Without respect, what do we really have? It's like trying to build a house on sand. Eventually, everything's just going to collapse. The Stoics, who were staunch advocates of living a virtuous life, placed immense emphasis on self-respect and the respect we owe to others. They believe that every individual possesses inherent worth and dignity, and this belief should be reflected in how we treat each other. So, if you find yourself in a relationship where you're not being treated with the dignity you deserve, it's a massive red flag. It's not just about feeling undervalued. It's about recognizing that a fundamental aspect of your humanity is being disregarded. Mutual respect is the bedrock of any healthy connection. It's the foundation upon which trust, love, and genuine understanding are built. If that's missing, then what's left? You're left with a relationship that's hollow, unfulfilling, and frankly, not worth your time and emotional investment. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, but what if it's not that simple? What if I really care about this person? And that's a fair point. Relationships are complex and emotions are powerful. But here's where the wisdom of Stoicism can guide us. The Stoics were all about clarity, rationality, and living in alignment with our highest values. They would encourage us to take a step back and assess our relationships through this lens. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? Are we honoring our inherent worth and the virtues we strive to live by? If the answer is no, then it might be time for a serious reassessment. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting someone out of your life with cold precision. Instead, it's about recognizing your own value and making decisions that reflect that. It might mean setting clearer boundaries, having a heart-to-heart conversation about how you're feeling, or in some cases, acknowledging that it's time to move on. Remember, respecting yourself and insisting on being treated with respect by others is not selfish or demanding. It's a reflection of the self-worth that the Stoics believed each of us should cultivate. It's about living with integrity and ensuring that your relationships reflect the respect and virtue you strive for in your own life. So, if you're dealing with a lack of mutual respect, take a moment to reflect on what that means for you and your well-being. Consider how you can address this issue in a way that honors your dignity and values. Because at the end of the day, every one of us deserves to be in relationships where we're treated with the respect and consideration we give in return. Let's strive to cultivate connections that are rooted in mutual respect, where each person is valued and appreciated for who they are. That's the kind of relationship that not only survives but thrives, reflecting the best of what it means to live a life grounded in Stoic wisdom and virtue. Number 8. Compromising your values should never be on the table. These principles guide us, serving as the moral compass that directs our decisions, actions, and ultimately, our life's course. Now here's a question that might hit closer to home than we'd like. What happens when a relationship challenges those very values? When it asks you to compromise on what you hold dear? It's a tough scenario, but it's one that demands our attention. And as expected, Stoicism offers invaluable insights on this matter. The Stoics would argue that compromising our core values for the sake of a relationship is a price too high to pay. Why? Because our values are the essence of who we are. They shape our identity, influence our choices, and dictate how we interact with the world around us. To compromise on these is to lose a part of ourselves, and that's a loss no relationship is worth. Being in a relationship that requires you to act in ways that contradict your values might start with small things, but over time, these compromises can erode your sense of self and the principles you live by. This isn't just about making sacrifices or compromises, which are normal parts of any healthy relationship. It's about betraying the very core of your being. The Stoics teach us that integrity and virtue are not just lofty ideals, but practical guides for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all emphasize the importance of staying true to oneself and living in alignment with one's values, regardless of external pressures or temptations. This alignment is what gives our lives meaning, direction, and a sense of purpose. So, if you find yourself in a situation where a relationship is demanding you to betray your values, it's a clear signal to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this relationship serving my highest good? Is it allowing me to grow and thrive, or is it holding me back, asking me to be someone I'm not? It's not an easy situation to navigate, especially when emotions are involved. But here's where the Stoic practice of self-reflection and rational analysis can be your ally. By stepping back and assessing the relationship through the lens of your values, you can make decisions that are not only right for you, but also honor the person you strive to be. Remember, walking away from a relationship that compromises your values isn't a sign of failure. It's a courageous act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value yourself enough to only accept relationships that uplift you, respect you, and align with the essence of who you are. Let's challenge ourselves to live with the integrity and virtue the Stoics admired so much. Let's ensure that our relationships reflect and respect our values, not undermine them. Because at the end of the day, it's our adherence to these values that defines us, guides us through life's ups and downs, and leads us to true fulfillment. So, keep your values close, cherish them, and never compromise on them for anyone or anything. In doing so, you'll not only honor the wisdom of the Stoics, but also pave the way for relationships that are genuine, meaningful, and truly enriching. Number 9. Let's tackle a tricky but crucial topic: the role of manipulation and control in our relationships. In any kind of relationship, feeling like you're more of a puppet than a partner is a massive red flag. It's about time we talk about autonomy, freedom, and the sage advice of Epictetus. He once said, "No one is free who is not master of himself." Think about that for a moment. True freedom, according to Epictetus, comes from within, from being in control of our actions, decisions, and ultimately, our lives. So what does it mean for us when we find ourselves in relationships where we feel like we're not the ones calling the shots, where our decisions, desires, and even our thoughts seem to be under someone else's control? It's a sign loud and clear that something's not right. Manipulation and control can sneak up on us in various forms. It might be subtle, like constant suggestions that steer you away from your passions, or more overt, like outright demands dictating who you should be or what you should do. These are not the hallmarks of a healthy relationship. True connections, the ones that are really worth our time and emotional investment, are built on mutual respect and freedom. Stoicism teaches us about the importance of autonomy, being the master of your own ship, so to speak. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly second-guessing your choices or feeling like your wings are clipped, it's worth asking why. Why stay in a dynamic that stifles your freedom and keeps you from being the author of your own life story? Here's the thing. Cutting ties with someone who's manipulating or controlling you isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about honoring your worth, your autonomy, and your right to lead a life that's true to you. It's about taking Epictetus's wisdom to heart and reclaiming your freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, to grow, to live a life aligned with your values. Yes, making the decision to step away from such relationships can be incredibly tough. It might mean letting go of something familiar or even someone you care deeply about. But remember, Stoicism isn't about taking the easy path. It's about taking the right path. Sometimes the right path is the one that leads us away from what harms us and towards a more authentic, fulfilling existence. True relationships, the ones that genuinely enrich our lives, are those that respect our individuality and freedom. They encourage us to explore, to question, to grow. They don't try to mold us into something we're not, or dictate how we should live our lives. So if you're feeling like someone's pulling your strings, take a moment to reflect on Epictetus's words. No one is truly free who isn't master of himself. Ask yourself if it's time to cut those strings and embrace the freedom to be authentically you. It's a journey worth taking, a step towards a life where you're in control, surrounded by relationships that uplift and respect your autonomy and freedom. Let's cherish and seek out those connections that empower us, that allow us to be the masters of our own lives, because at the end of the day, that's what true friendship and love should do. Set us free, not hold us back, hold us. Number 10. When we talk about reciprocity, we're talking about the balance of give and take between people. It's about mutual support, where both parties contribute to the relationship in equal measure. But what happens when this balance is off? When you find yourself in a one-sided relationship, constantly giving but rarely, if ever, receiving. It's a situation many of us have faced, and it's far from ideal. Reciprocity is not just a nice to have. It's key to the health and longevity of any relationship. Think about it. A relationship where one person is always the giver and the other always the receiver is fundamentally out of balance. This imbalance can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and underappreciation on the part of the giver, and dependency or entitlement on the part of the receiver. Such an imbalance undermines the very essence of what a healthy relationship should be. The Stoics had a lot to say about the nature of relationships and the importance of mutual support. They believed in the value of contributing to the well-being of others, but not at the expense of one's own well-being. For the Stoics, the ideal relationship was one of harmony and mutual respect, where both individuals support each other in their pursuit of virtue and a good life. So if you're stuck in a one-sided relationship, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on the Stoic principles of balance and mutual respect. Are you respecting yourself by allowing this imbalance to continue? Are you respecting the other person by enabling a dynamic that doesn't encourage their growth or contribution? Addressing this imbalance doesn't necessarily mean ending the relationship. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth for both parties. It starts with communication, expressing your needs, setting boundaries, and discussing ways to bring more balance into the relationship. It's about encouraging and allowing the other person to contribute more, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. Healthy relationships are dynamic. They evolve over time. They require effort, compromise, and a willingness to adapt. But the foundation should always be one of reciprocity. Each person should feel valued, heard, and supported. It's this mutual support that builds trust, deepens connection, and fosters an environment where both individuals can thrive. Remember, seeking balance in your relationships is not selfish. It's necessary. It's about ensuring that you're not just giving, but also receiving the support, love, and respect you deserve. It's about building relationships that are not just sustainable, but truly enriching for both parties. So let's strive to cultivate relationships where reciprocity is the norm, not the exception. Let's take to heart the Stoic ideals of balance and mutual respect, creating connections that uplift and support everyone involved. After all, in the give and take of life, we find the true essence of meaningful relationships. As we part ways today, I hope you carry with you the Stoic principles we've explored together. Let them be a beacon guiding you through the challenges and joys of your relationships. Remember, the pursuit of tranquility, virtue, and wisdom is a journey we're all on together, taking it one step, one decision, one relationship at a time. If this conversation has sparked a desire for more exploration, understanding, and growth, I invite you to dive deeper into our journey. Right on your screen, you'll see a playlist that will take you further into the world of Stoicism, its principles, and how they can be applied to every facet of your life. So go ahead, click on it, and let's continue to grow together, to challenge ourselves, and to cultivate lives of profound meaning and joy. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, keep striving for tranquility, keep seeking wisdom, and remember, in the tapestry of life, we're all connected through our shared humanity and our quest for a good life. See you in the next video.